Welcome to The Back Cover, the podcast that explores the classic soul music of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I'm Karen Williams. Join me and my co-host Steve Williams, no, we're not related, as we flip over the album covers and share stories of the movers and shakers that created, wrote, and produced those iconic sounds. We'll educate and entertain you, all while keeping the music alive. In this episode, Steve and I have a visit from Gachele Coffey, a longtime Chicago radio personality that worked with Steve back in the 90s. The station they worked at was owned by the legendary John H. Johnson, the media mogul that created and owned Ebony and Jet magazines, the first national magazines that featured African Americans. Johnson later spread out into radio and television production. Their discussion of African American radio and their experiences are so appropriate for February, which is African American History Month. So, enjoy.
There were some things that we did at JPC. Nobody else was probably know what we were doing. But when we started getting out into the public, oh man, I'm telling you, I had 79th Street in Stony Island tied up for a whole Saturday. Because my dear friend Lou Blanchett said, man, I can sell you. And Mr. Johnson was looking at me like, how you gonna sell him? He said, Steve, do you mind getting up on top of a building and broadcasting? No. He didn't tell me it was gonna be White Castle on 79th and Stony Island. Mm-hmm. And traffic was like, it was me, the brothers with the bean pies, and everything else. But we were a small staff. And I'm telling you, middays.
But we were large.
Larger than child.
We were large. Because, while you were at White Castles, I was at the dating game.
There you go.
On Saturday mornings doing brunch. So that was the cool thing about it. We were out among the people all the time doing remote radio.
Yep.
All over Chicago. That was our thing. We were remote. Mm-hmm. So we had hands-on. Personality with the people, up close and personal. I love it. And it's so funny too, because I remember, we really kind of did our thing. Not kind of, we did our thing. We did our thing. And we battled, Karen, among ourselves. So it was Gene, Steve, and myself. And we had LPs. So we were bringing our stash from home. Because we were really music aficionados in terms of what we enjoyed and what we did. Right. So we brought our personal stash. We would throw down. Steve would throw down. I'm like, oh, really? Okay. So we would battle up against each other. Right. Then Gene get in. He's like, oh, no, you ain't doing that one. No, you ain't doing that one. So we kept the competition. Actually, not with another radio station, but among ourselves, which made us sharper than sharp.
Yeah.
It made us sharper than sharp. I remember being on the air and people like, can you let me out of my car? I got to go to work. Let me out of my car. We would hold them hostage. Let me out. And it's like, okay. And then you hit them again and you could just feel it. And that was the beauty of radio then, much like the internet now. Mm-hmm. The internet now is not formatted and it does not have a harness of putting you in bondage.
Right.
It gives you the freedom to be free with your music. Play what you want to play. Talk about the music and feel your people. When you were talking about steppers, I'm a stepper and a skater.
Yep.
So when you get out there, if you're a real DJ and you have a group out there, you are hitting them nonstop. They cannot leave the floor. And quite contraire, Steve, you sweating your butt off. You are sweating you gonna sweat because you can't get off the floor. It's like, ding, there's my cut. So you gotta hit it again. Same thing with roller skating, so when you know your audience and you can really play for the audience and you're not programmed to the program director that says this one I won't say what record it is that's out right now. I love it. But Bruno Mars.
Right.
I love Bruno Mars.
I love Bruno.
I do too.
But, I'm going to leave the door open. I mean, it's like he done left the radio station open because that's back to back to back to back. Right. Tripping. A lot of songs have whatever cloud, however that falls, and they're playing all the time.
Right.
Well, if they're playing all the time, where's the other music?
Another thing along with that, we were not instructed to do anything. Do you?
That was it.
And the personalities, we were real personalities because we weren't told what to say. This is the basic. When you crack the mic,
right? This
is the basic.
Right.
So it's one thing. I can remember when we first started working together, me and Karen. I said, listen, baby, you can't be reading like you doing the choir rehearsal.
Karen, what you reading?
Because I was reading
she's a journalist. She's a journalist.
Okay.
I said, girlfriend,
so
you ain't reading the church announcements. I said, when I say something, you be ready to say something. Mm-hmm. And it's like when you crack the mic, now you listen to the younger generation, they don't know how to approach the mic like we did. Because we didn't let you know who you're listening to and what you're listening to.
Right.
And you and Angie, and Tracy.
And Tracy Dion.
We had some, listen, I've worked with some women that were just, they not only beautiful, but they kept me in charge. Steve!
You have to keep him.
Yes, you do.
You can't let him run free.
So good to see you here, Karen. So good to see you.
Let me tell you something. I messed around. I said, hey, listen, I'm going to Atlanta for a weekend. It's the Jack the Rapper convention. What's that? I said, well, it's a convention of all the radio personalities, TV folks, and everybody. And they had never gone to one. I said, well, y'all need to come on. I said, but don't come half-stepping, though, because them girls be sharp as a tack. Why did I say that?
Why did you say that?
Got to Atlanta. Boogie. Our Boogie.
Boogie, Jerry Mason.
He said, Smooth, who them girls? Just like that. I said, Boogie, you can't handle them. I don't want to handle them. I'm just wondering what the hell they doing with you. They were the talk of the conventions because people thought, they thought they were twins. They were clean. Not that they don't ever be clean. I'm talking about outfits, heels, everything. And the formal night, I had to take a picture with them heifers. I said, they're like sisters to me. They are. And after all of that, I'll say it and I'll say it again, we were the talk of the town.
Yeah.
But if he had paid us what we were worth.
Yeah. And invested in the station.
And because we had antiquated equipment, man.
Wait a minute. Now, we've worked with somebody.
I told you that. I said, this ain't nothing new.
Okay.
Huh?
Was he worse than the other person?
Well, kind of, sort of. Because we had a remote. we had a remote. And like she said, my partner, PJ, said, no, man, we can't go out like this. Mm-hmm. He brought all of his equipment. Right. And it was me, Isadora Pink, may he rest in peace, and I think Gachele and Angie came by. You remember Shernan's shoes on Roosevelt Road?
Oh, yeah, Shernan.
Down. Mm-hmm. We shut it down for a day, and we were giving away free Converse All-Stars.
Oh, wow, yeah.
They went to old But Mr. Moutry came down, and he was our station manager, and said, what did y'all do? He used to love to call me country. I'll show you country. Mm-hmm. But we all we did our things to the best of our ability. And I'm telling you, this lady here, your coffee in the middle made me want to drink. I know damn well. And guys would be stopping me on the street. Man, how she look? I said, oh, she fine now. But she'll bite your head off of you.
And that's so funny because, you always listen to the voice and never really know what someone looks like.
Exactly.
Right.
And so I have, this resonance in my voice or whatever. So people always thought that I was a very large bone, brown, big girl,
right?
Big girl, dark brown complexion. But a big girl.
Right.
So when I would host an event and I walk out on stage, they're like, that's Gachele Coffey? I get it all the time. It's amazing. It's amazing.
See?
It's funny.
The power of the microphone.
It is really something.
And the older women thought I was an old dude because the music that I played. What he know about some drifters?
Yeah.
You remember West Side Mary?
Yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah.
It was fun because that was a dream job for me. I've always dreamt of doing mornings in a big market and living in Alabama. When I got here, man, and hooked up with all these lovely people, I had you had a few setbacks, but you know what? I gave away that damn rice and quick grits like it was millions of dollars worth.
But you know what's interesting that I always remember too? Mr. Johnson has some issues with Tom Joyner.
Yeah.
Rising.
Yeah.
To the level that he did.
Yeah.
And it was known that he had said, I will never make another Tom Joyner.
Why?
Just think about it. Just think about it. You know, it's
because
kinda,
Tom left.
Not so much that Tom left, Tom rose. And he felt like, you know, you never know what's really mentally, psychologically going on in someone's mind. Perhaps Mr. Johnson, old school, real old school,
real old,
old school. So
older than Steve?
Old, much, a little bit, just a little bit.
He was older than all of us put together.
Well, I mean, old school,
but no, old school for real. But old school he pulled himself up by his own bootstraps.
Right.
He built his own empire. He worked hard to become Ebony Jet.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he did it. He did it. And so sometimes old school like that from way back do not believe in giving you the cushion that helps you to rise. It's like you gotta pay your dues and you gotta earn it the way I earn it, and I'm not making it easy for you. Didn't nobody make it easy for me? That's the mentality. Yeah. So therefore, when it was on his platform, the radio station, that BMX, you know, that he was able to become Tom Joyner, make the money, become famous, and rise in the industry and continue to go. He got that because Johnson gave him that opportunity.
That platform.
And that was the platform. So unfortunately, he had a mindset, I will not invest and put this station where it can be so that anybody else will ever rise.
But what mistake did he make, though, girlfriend? He put the crew together.
He put the crew together.
And we just took it and ran with it.
But you know what? I'm going to tell you this. He didn't even do that.
He didn't. Moochie did.
God did that.
Thank you.
God did that.
Thank you.
Because the combination of Angie, you, Gene, Tracy Dion. I mean, even Ski was on 950. Ramon Ski Law was the hip hop on 950 with Lamont. So all of us weren't really known here in Chicago. I had been on WBEE and I had also been on WMPP East Chicago Heights. But
that was my station. See, I told you I used to listen to
That's all you could get,
That's
girl.
all I could get in there. So.
But, you know, very small, humble beginnings to stay small and cozy and relatable. Whereas you are not, you know, believe in your own hype. That was the one thing that I remember about radio. Never believe your own hype. Stay low and stay warm and cozy with the people. Don't think that you all this and all that because of the power of the microphone.
Yes.
You have the power of the microphone. Man, get somebody a microphone. Oh my God, you can't get it out their hand because they love hearing themselves radiate way out there. But it's interesting.
Come
it's
on,
interesting.
choir members.
Go on, Steve. Go on.
He did. He had no idea the crew.
Yeah, that was put together. That was it. It was amazing.
Sounds like somebody else we know.
Yeah.
But she said something that made me think, now I think I understand.
Yeah.
We did.
We'll tell you how.
We did some things that, I'm telling you, I had never thought about being on the roof of anything. And then he turned around and told Lou Blanchett, Lou, you remember when the new Kaminsky Park?
When they first built it.
He had a diamond box there. A $75,000 diamond box behind home plate up in the front. He said, take that fat boy over there. And we were trying to get the Jay's potato chips.
Account.
Yes.
Oh.
I walked away.
What you do, Steve?
Where that fella at? He's funny. Hey, guys. I was just talking. Didn't know a damn thing about baseball but a home run. But if you just open your mouth and let yourself just be friendly. We got the account. And then every weekend after that, I was at a remote. He gave me $500 per remote. And a limousine. I didn't know how to act. And we would all meet.
He really did.
I did.
If y'all had given him a bag of J's, he would have been really in hog heaven.
But wait, there's more. There was a place, you know how crazy I am about the Temptations.
Right.
There was a place called Latti's Hair Salon.
Oh, boy.
You remember them butters?
Yeah, I was in Latti's. I was in Latti's.
See that? We got ourselves together. I had an account at Rothschild's Big and Tall. All I had to be is Johnny on the spot. I had never experienced anything like that. And when I called back home to Alabama, the guy that fired me, I heard something about you. Well, whatever you heard, it was damn true. But he took care of us. Yeah, we didn't make the money, but it was a life experience.
And it was a love we had for music.
Oh, man.
And what we did.
Man, she had crates of jazz. Crates. Girl, do you hear me?
Crates.
And her and Angie would go at it.
Yeah, we would.
But when I took them to the convention, they were just dolls. Dolls. I got pictures of that till this day. I said,
that was a good time.
That was a great time.
It was.
It was a great time. Oh, my goodness.
Now, Gachele, you are a jazz woman.
Yes, ma'am.
Smooth jazz.
Smooth jazz.
Did you ever do 95.5? You never did 95.5.
I never. You know what? I had an interview with 95.1, was getting ready to start with 95.1, and I mean 95.5, WNUA.
WNUA.
Right? And the program director at that time was really 100 in my corner for me to start. And he was to get back with me. I hadn't heard from him. Next thing I know, he was fired.
Wow.
So he was my connect. And it wasn't long after that
they went out there.
The station was sold and it was gone.
And you know what? I've been saying, I really missed that station.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, I thought that they had great listenership. A lot of it was older. It was an adult station, and they were playing smooth jazz all day. That's that's how I knew some of the smooth jazz artists. I listened to WNUA almost all the time.
Well,
And then one day I turned in and everybody was speaking Spanish, and I'm like, did I get the wrong station?
I know.
They converted in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why doesn't Chicago have a smooth jazz station?
You know, I come from WBEE.
Right.
Jazz radio. Real jazz.
Right.
With Herb, Ken, E. Rodney Jones, everybody, Bernadine, everybody started at WBEE.
Yeah.
And it was a struggle. To get the money for jazz, especially classic jazz. Right. And you always look at radio in terms of the genre. Who is your market? Right. Who's listening? Yeah. So we older people are much wiser in terms of using what is called discretionary money. You know, we're very... We're hard nosed in how we gonna budget, how long we gonna keep a car, what's going in this house this month, next year, so our spending habits are totally different from a hip hop station, a young R&B station, and that generation of 20s to in their 30s, they're spending money like crazy because they just started making money and they really don't know what it is to budget, and they're living life and they want to keep up with the Joneses and they want to be what's it, and I'm it, and so they're spending the money, and it doesn't take much for them to spend the money. We, on the other hand, as we get older, we are very particular about how we spend our money.
Right.
So unless you got some gun-ho salespeople that can really get out there and hustle the personality and make the money for the station can't last. So if you notice what WNUA had done, they were really what I call smooth jazz. Yeah. Nothing but smooth jazz. But then they started bringing in a little bit of Sade. Yeah. They start bringing in, and Sade's smooth, but she's not smooth jazz. Okay, she's R&B. Okay, brought in a little smooth Sade. Brought in Michael Jackson. They started bringing in other artists that were R&B, but had a smooth touch to it that could segue well and flow with the smooth jazz, because the smooth jazz market wasn't enough to sell.
Okay.
So that's what happened. And you look at Chicago and you're like, man, we're the mecca of jazz, gospel, and blues.
And mix them all together.
And mix them all together. And so it's like, what do you mean you don't have a jazz station? But it's all about the money.
But that's the difference, though, to my sister.
What's that?
You say smooth jazz and somebody else say smooth. They don't realize how deep you are. Let me tell you what this girl had in her crate.
Because I don't remember.
Kenny G was all right and all this stuff. She was doing Monk, Coltrane, West, and a few others that I do not know. But she was deep. I'm like, where you get that? I mean, she was pulling these albums out of the crate. We were playing records up until 1992.
Thanks for listening to The Back Cover. You can catch The Back Cover on TuneIn, Stitcher, and MyTuner. You can also listen to our show, The Ride Home, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, Central Standard Time on www.thesoundofsoul.net. Please have your friends and family like and subscribe to our podcast.